So as far as JEE is concerned, electrochemistry has a weightage of say around every year 1 or 2 questions are going to come from this topic. So what is important in this topic is you should be conceptually thorough with it. And in the second part of electro, we'll deal with the quantitative part of. The quantitative part is mostly based on formulas. So this is the part which is based on formulas. And the first part which we are going to cover today is mostly based on conceptual. Few rules. What we are going to understand is only through the problems, mostly. So when I give you some assignment, you should be very sincere with it. And if you follow it thoroughly, then what is going to be the case is, if this is, we're going to follow the same approach as in JEE. When you're going to sit for the JEE exam, you know all the concepts, you don't know what the question are going to be. I will teach you the concepts and we will do all the type of problems which are associated with it. Is everybody fine with it? So, when the people were young in class 10th, a question was given to you that you have a thin copper electrode and a thick copper electrode. The thin copper electrode was pure and the thick was impure. Fine. This everyone has done it, right? And then you take a solution of CuSO4. Then you say that as the current is passed through it, this thin is going to become thick in period of time due to deposition of pure copper. Right? And all the impure is going to change into thin. Right? Everyone has done this?
Yes.
Okay. So, that time we used to do it in the extraction courses, right? Extraction of copper. In the final stages of copper, when you want purified copper, then what you do? You take it and you say that we are going to conduct electrolysis and you're going to get like 100% pure or 99.9% pure copper. This everybody did. Now we are going to understand what is the concept behind this whole thing. So what we say that there was something, these things are known as electrodes. There was an electrolyte, and if it was a negatively charged electrode, we say it was a cathode, and if it was positively charged, then we said it was a anode. Right? Now in the class 10 when we used to draw this diagram, we used to get 5 number out of 5, right? There was no concept asked to you. So now you understand what is the concept behind it. Now suppose, what I will do now is, you can see there are two parts, right? There is one electrode and second electrode. Now suppose I divide this like this. There is no problem? Or is there any problem? Circuit is not complete, exactly. So, say I inserted something which is known as salt bridge, fine. You know it, right? Nonetheless, I am going to explain it again. So, now the circuit is complete. So, there are two kinds of cell which we are going to study. Type 1 cell is, if I use electricity to help make a non-spontaneous cell reaction. Or case 1 is, I use electricity for the chemical reaction. Simple. Otherwise, case 2 is, I use chemical reaction to generate electricity. As is the case of your car batteries. Everyone has seen car batteries, right?
Yes.
At least in TV ads we have seen. So what is the case in car batteries? The chemical reaction is the underlying force which is going to generate electricity. Right? So, let's take this case in which we are going to take a chemical reaction and that chemical reaction is going to help us generate electricity. Clear? So, the only difference in the two cases is that the terminals having a negative and positive charge will change. For example, in case 1, this is the cathode, this is the anode. In case 2, this will be anode and this will be cathode. That is the only difference. But one thing which we should know is, it doesn't actually matter in all your questions, what is going to be important is at anode, always oxidation is going to take place. At cathode, always reduction is going to take place. So whatever be the terminal, it won't matter. Fine. So let's start with type 1 cell, and I'm going to explain all the terms to you right now. Okay. So first case is the voltaic cell, and what do we do in voltaic cell is, in this case, I have a spontaneous reaction with me, and using that, I'm going to generate electricity. Simple. In this case, the negatively charged connect is known as anode, not cathode. And this is the cathode. You will have some electrolyte here, and you will have something like a U-shaped salt bridge. Don't try to understand it now. What is going to be the process? At anode, always oxidation. You have to remember this. Whatever be the charge, if it is given to you, this is the anode, always oxidation. Fine? At cathode, always reduction. Now, suppose say this is a circuit and it is complete now, right? This is the whole circuit. You can see it? Okay. So, what will be the flow of electron? You can see this always anode always reduction. First of all, why are you using a salt bridge? We are using a salt bridge because of few reasons. First, to complete the circuit. First. Secondly, what happens at times is these electrolytes which we are using, they are quite inert. And the main purpose of electrolyte is to generate ions. So if there is no flow of ions, or if there is say irregular flow of ions, then our process of generating electricity will be hindered. Right? So what this is going to do is to facilitate the flow of ions also and to complete the circuit. Mostly the salt bridge consists of, it's a U-tube consisting of a gel, mostly agar-agar solution, facilitating flow of ions. Fine? Now, let me ask you one question. What will be the flow of electrons? If this is negative, this is positive.
Negative to positive.
This will be the flow of electrons. So what will be the flow of electric current? Opposite direction. Similarly, ions will flow from here and ions will flow from here. From this side to this side via the salt bridge. These ions are via the salt bridge. Fine? Because it is facilitating the movement of ions from here to here and here to here. Is it fine now?
Yes, sir.
Suppose we use the same reaction for say. Now suppose at the this side I have an electrolyte consisting of Sn2 plus ions. Fine? This side I have an electrolyte consisting of say silver plus 1 ions. So can anybody help me? What is going to be the reaction taking place at anode?
Sn gives Sn plus 2.
Sn gives
Sn plus 2 electrons.
because this is oxidation. And we know it is anode, so always oxidation is going to take place. Simple. What will be the reaction here?
Eg plus 1.
So this will be reduction. Anybody has a problem with this whole thing? Clear? So now this is a voltaic cell. Now if we have a electrolysis cell, which is a type 2 cell, in which we are going to use the copper example which we did. For the purification of copper, we passed electricity so that copper is purified. So in that case, we had a non-spontaneous reaction, and using electricity, I converted a non-spontaneous reaction to a spontaneous reaction. Clear?
So we come.
Okay. So the difference between voltaic cell and electrolysis cell is, electrolysis cell you use electricity to convert a non-spontaneous reaction to a spontaneous reaction. As we did in the case of copper or the purification of copper. We had a impure copper and pure copper with us, and using electricity, we made it, we helped in the purification of the copper because we converted from a non-spontaneous reaction to a spontaneous reaction. The only difference, suppose say this, the same example, if it is say electrolysis cell. So in that case, this will be the anode. Only you change the sign of the terminals, rest all is the same. So in this case, this is
Change the direction.
cathode, this is anode. The flow of electrons will change definitely. So in this case, this is the flow of electrons and this is the flow of current. But what is the important thing which we learn from this is the reactions are still the same. At anode, again oxidation is taking place. At cathode, again reduction is taking place. Clear?
So can you please repeat this?
This thing? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
In this case, we used an electrolysis cell. Okay? So the only difference is this between the sign of the terminals and the flow of current and the flow of electrons. But what is important to understand in this case is at the anode, still the same reaction is taking place. Oxidation. At the cathode, still the same reaction is taking place, which is reduction. So the bottom line is you have to remember at anode always oxidation, at cathode always reduction. If you are thorough with it, there are going to be no problems ahead. Fine? Now there is something known as electrode potential. Suppose there is a metal M which is an electrolyte as M plus. Don't write, just understand first. It is say M plus and this metal is say M. Fine?
Yes, sir.
So the difference between or the potential difference between M and M plus is defined as electrode potential. As we used to do in physics, you know V naught of E, you know V naught of E plus, subtract it. You will get what is known as the electrode potential. Simple as that, the potential difference. What you say as the voltage of a cell. In this case, the cell is not complete yet. So what we are going to do is, suppose this is the electrode potential of a half cell. I mean the one part of the cell, and then we are going to take the electrode potential of other part of the cell, and to find the potential difference between these two, we will subtract those. Clear? We are going to do it ahead. As of now, this thing is clear. So what we have done is we have developed the electrode potentials scientifically by assigning by taking a reference of hydrogen as 0, and taking hydrogen as 0, we have assigned electrode potentials to every metal mostly. Fine. So in this case there are two cases possible. Either M is going from M to M plus. So in this case it is known as oxidation potential because the reaction is oxidation. And in this case it is known as simple. Okay. So if the same reaction for everything, if I do at say 1 atm and I take the concentration to be 1 molar, then I will have something known as standard electrode potential. So if it is a standard electrode potential, then we are going to have standard oxidation potential or SOP. Same thing. If I am going to do the same reaction at standard conditions, then this will be standard oxidation potential. Simple? Fine? This standard electron potential is denoted by E naught. And if it is only an electrode potential, then it will be denoted by E. Simple? As was the case of delta G and delta G naught.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
So for the standard conditions, so should temperature also be mentioned as 298 Kelvin?
No. We are not mentioning temperature in this case. Only the pressure, which is 1 atm, 1 bar mostly, not 1 atm also. So it is taken to be 1 bar, and the concentration of solution which you are taking, it is mostly 1 molar or closely near to it. But we are not mentioning temperature in that case. Clear? So suppose I write something as E naught copper to copper 2 plus. So in this case, what you can see, it is from copper to copper 2 plus. So just write the reaction. Copper to copper 2 plus 2 electron. This is oxidation. So this is oxidation. Standard because it is E naught. Standard oxidation potential or SOP, which is given to you. So mostly what is going to be given to you is this thing. Simple thing, just write the reaction, make it a habit of writing the reaction as soon as you see this. Clear? Similarly, if I write say E naught copper 2 plus 2 copper. So the underlying reaction is copper 2 plus, fine. Now this is nothing but reduction. So in that case, we can say this is nothing but SRP. Simple. Now up till now what we have done is we have covered one electrode, right? Now suppose I have a reaction with me Zn2 plus, suppose I have this reaction in front of me and I have to determine what will be E of this reaction. Suppose I use this reaction to generate electricity, how much is the electrode potential I am going to get using this reaction as a whole. So what is will be the EMF of this whole reaction? Fine. Now suppose, or say E naught of this whole reaction, E naught cell. So in this case we can see, if I divide this reaction, this can also be written as Zn gives Zn2 plus 2 electron, or the oxidation of zinc. So this is the oxidation.
So the second reaction.
Oh, sorry. It shall be plus 2 electron here, right? Now it is fine.
Yes.
So this is known as the oxidation half cell, and this is the reduction half cell. Fine?
Yes.
Okay. So what I can do is, acha, tell me what will be this? This will be SOP or SRP, the upward reaction. SOP, right? So this is SOP, and this is fine. So for this reaction, if I say that E naught cell I have to find, I can say E naught cell is equal to SOP of anode plus SRP of cathode. Why? Because here the oxidation is taking place, so it has to be anode, and this has to be cathode. Is it simple enough? So I have defined that E naught cell is going to be SOP of cathode plus SOP of anode plus SOP of cathode, SRP of cathode. Or can I also write it as SRP of cathode minus SRP of anode? If I write SRP of this reaction, it will be just the opposite of this reaction. So if I write SRP anode, and that will be Zn2 plus 2 electrons gives Zn. So if you subtract this reaction from this reaction, again you are going to get this reaction. Clear? And or else what you can do is you can also write it as SOP of anode minus SRP of anode cathode. SOP. So you have these three ways to write a cell reaction, right? So if I give you SRP of cathode and if I give you SRP of anode, you can use this thing SRP of cathode minus SRP of anode. And they will not write SRP of cathode, SRP of anode. They will just give you, say for this reaction, if I give you, given E naught, copper 2 plus, copper is X, E naught, Zn2 plus, Zn is Y. Suppose it is given to you. So effectively what is given to you is
SRP.
SRP and SRP again. So what you have to use is this thing. And if I give you this reaction, you know what is anode, you know what is cathode. You know this is anode and this is cathode. Why it is anode? Because here oxidation is taking place. So what will be the SRP of anode?
X minus Y.
And this will be the cathode. So you can use it. So in this case I can say E cell will be equal to X minus Y. Simple. See, the bottom line of this whole thing is, or the gist of this whole thing is, you have to remember at oxidation always anode, and if cathode then always reduction. And always write the underlying bottom reaction. What is it? So if I write Cu2 plus Cu, the moment I write Cu2 plus Cu, you should write the reaction as Cu2 plus gives you Cu. Clear?
Yes.
Although these three definitions are used, what we are going to use mostly is this definition. Clear? This thing is fine? Shall we go ahead? Everyone has copied it, right? Now, most of the time, they will not give you all the reactions as full. They will give you something like this. Say they will give you something like this. So what is the interpretation of this whole thing is? You can see, you just read it along. A is changing to AX plus. So this is nothing but oxidation. So if it is oxidation, this is nothing but anode half cell or half reaction. Simple. This is indicating the salt bridge. Simple. Now By plus is changing to B2. B2 I am writing because it may be some gas. For example, say if I take H plus 2, say hydrogen platinum. Say this is an example. So H plus is changing to H2. So this is reduction half cell. And why do they write platinum as such? Because whenever any gas is liberated, they mostly take platinum electrode saturated with that gas. So I can write this is nothing but. So if it was say Cl minus to Cl2 gives platinum. So in that case, we should say that the platinum is now saturated with chlorine. Simple. So don't get confused with this platinum thing. Just read the reaction along. So you will be given a cell reaction like this. And then you will be asked to find say E cell or E naught cell, whatever. We'll do a lot of questions after this. Just copy it. So suppose I write something as copper 2 plus aqueous. Just write it down. What will be the reaction at anode? Copper plus 2 electron gives copper gives copper 2 plus 2 electron, and reaction at cathode will be
Plus 2 electrons.
copper gives copper 2 plus, copper gives copper 2 plus, zinc 2 plus gives Zn, zinc 2 plus gives Zn. Simple. So mostly they also write in which phase it is. AQ means it is in aqueous phase. Clear? So this is the question which is given to you. All the data is given to you. For this reaction, say this is given to you. This is also aqueous. So you have to find E naught cell. Or say case 1 is, it is Cu2I2. Well, let's make it more simpler and say, let's start with this. Say it is copper 2 plus. Do it now. Simple. In this case, we can say SRP of cathode by SRP of anode. What is the cathode in this case? This is,
Anode.
and this whole thing is
पेट में क्या मिल रहा है?
cathode. All these values are SRP.
Yes.
So in this case, it will be. One more thing. Always when you write the reaction, make it a habit of don't write the formulas always. Always write the reactions first. This will give you a better idea of how the reaction is actually going on. For example, I should quickly write Zn gives Zn2 plus 2 electrons.